Hey guys, Fox here. Wanted to do a quick little review of a new piece of hardware I got to add to my collection, something that I've been wanting to add for a long time, and since I've been really big into collecting for Game Boy, I decided that this is probably the definitive piece of hardware to play original Game Boy games that only played original Game Boy games. So leads me not to think of the Game Boy Advance or the SP or specifically the AGS 101. What I'm really going to talk about is Nintendo's first backlit Game Boy, and that's the Game Boy Light. This is a really awesome system. It's fairly rare. I mean, you could find a few on eBay. I've been hunting on eBay myself for quite some time to get one that has a really good working screen. That was my main thing, and to not break the bank. I'll be honest with you, I ended up paying $82 for this one. As you could tell and you could see, the case itself is fairly beat up. It's worn. You could tell this has pocket use because all the corners are worn out. But the screen itself is fantastic. It works very well. I'm very happy to add this and show this to you guys. As we're doing right now, we're just doing a quick overview. It looks very similar to the Game Boy Pocket. I'll talk about that in a minute. And it uses two AA's, and that's why you get this bumping housings to add for the bigger batteries. Yeah, so we all know that the original Game Boy, this brick right here, came out in '89 and is fantastic. I have a few of these and they all work very well still. I mean, the only downfall is the green monochrome screen. The battery life is pretty damn good. You can get about 20 hours out of 4 AA batteries, sometimes more. Yeah, this was fantastic. And it was years later, I think 97, so it had been like nearly 8 years. I could be wrong, I didn't look up the dates on that. I looked mostly on dates on the Game Boy Light. It was 96, 97, somewhere around there, that the Game Boy Pocket came out. This is a Japanese one, so to be the successor to the original Game Boy. It had a bigger screen, a better looking screen. It was more like a white on black graphics instead of the monochrome. Used two AAA batteries. Now the battery life suffered. You would only get 10 to 12 hours out of this, but it was a lot smaller, a lot lighter, and a better looking screen. So that was awesome. So fast forward to April of '98, and that's when we got the release of the Game Boy Light in Japan only. Nowhere else got this. And the reason being is not but 6 months later, the Game Boy Color would be released. So, and here it is. And that would probably be the main reason why the Game Boy Light wasn't released in any other market, was because Nintendo had already made plans of releasing the Game Boy Color, which was, just an improved hardware of the original Game Boy, just with a color screen, and supports a little higher graphic games. Now you could see that this uses the AA batteries, like the Game Boy Light. So there's some visual cues of that. This used some technology from the Game Boy Light to improve battery life for the different screens, but it's mostly just like the Game Boy Pocket. So if I put these down here, you can see that they're very similar. Same size screen. The only difference is that the Game Boy Light is a little longer, and that's due to some tech here in the screen that extends down a little bit below, which required the extra space. So it's only maybe a quarter of an inch longer. It's obviously wider due to the batteries. But other than that, the rest of it's pretty much the same width. The screen on here is what they call an electroluminescent screen. I don't know if we can pick it up really close. I might have to turn it on here. Did I put batteries in this? No. I'll have to do a cut here soon. So let's do a cut real quick and I'm going to grab batteries. Alright, back with batteries now. And so I want to turn this on so I can see if you guys can see the monochrome. You probably can't. I'll have to do this in a little better light. I thought using natural light would be a better way to look at this, but maybe not. We'll struggle to turn shit off though. So yes, and later in the video I will show you the difference and show you the electroluminescent screen. The good thing about that is that on the two AA batteries with the Game Boy Light, this thing will last 20 hours, which is great. That's almost the original Game Boy length. And with the light on, it'll last about 12 hours. So that's pretty damn good. It's pretty awesome. So, what else? It is the first Game Boy to be backlit until the release of the AGS 101 in 2005. It is not frontlit like the first Game Boy Advance SP. This came in two standard colors. Here we have the gold, and it was also released in silver. Eventually I'll try to get more variants of the Game Boy Light, but it costs a pretty penny and they're not very common to find, so hopefully you can find one in a good working condition. It also came in with a few special editions. I'll try to pop some pictures here in the screen to show you. But it had a yellow Pokemon Center Tokyo version, which is pretty cool. I wouldn't mind having that one. It had a clear translucent Astro Boy. Also had a Osamu Tezuka, and that was kind of in a clear red color. I'm not familiar with that brand, but I'll show the picture there. There's also a translucent yellow, which is pretty cool, but I hear that one's almost one of the harder ones to find, except for the very extremely rare editions that were made for, you know, various companies and stuff like that, where they only made like maybe 100 of them. But yeah, so what I decided to do to show you guys here in regular light is we have Pokemon Red as a little test game, so you can see the various differences here. This isn't the best lighting, but this Game Boy has a perfect screen, so it looks good. Of course, you can just see the fucking camera in the glare. But yeah, it looks pretty good. I mean, you got all the different hues of green for its color. But we'll go ahead and show you after the difference here when we put it in the Game Boy Pocket and how much of a better screen was actually in the Game Boy Pocket. Hopefully I have contrast good, yeah. You can already see that the camera's already picking up the images much better here on this. You can tell, yeah, more black and white. Much more clear, a lot less ghosting. It was just a whole big upgrade on the screen. So, and before I do the light, we'll also show the color. And everybody knows the only disadvantage to the Game Boy Color really is the fact that it didn't have a backlit screen, or a frontlit screen for that matter. No, it didn't load right. And that was something with, you know, all Game Boys too. If you didn't put it in there with nice clean context, it wouldn't load very well. Sorry about the shaky cam, guys. I'm holding the camera with one hand, as you can see on the screen, and then doing everything else with my left hand. But the screen, you know, if you had the proper light on the Game Boy Color, did look great. It was even superior to the Game Boy Pocket. Almost no ghosting at all. And of course all of the supports of colors as well. Now, let's pop it into the Game Boy Light. So if you can probably kind of see it, but you see like the screen has like this sparkly, glittery feel to it. I'm not sure if I could pick that up well enough for you guys, but yeah, so it's pretty much like a Game Boy Pocket, you know, as far as clarity, ghosting, and all that other stuff. Better than your original, not quite as good as the Game Boy Color, but I will have to show you the light here next. So I'm going to cut to a dark area and show it to you. Alright folks, we're in a dark area. I chose the laundry room here. I'll turn it on. There's the light. Bright throughout. This lights up the whole screen. May need a few adjustments to the contrast there. I've noticed though, when you have the light on, you can kind of notice the ghosting a little bit more, but it's wonderful. I would have loved to have this when I was a kid. I could play in my room in the dark before bed, you know, or during when I was supposed to be sleeping, and I would have just played through a fuck ton of games. But it looks great. This is probably one of the best, you know, black and white backlights you can ever get. Puts those shitty light boys or those worm lights and stuff that you would stick on your original Game Boys a lot. Absolutely love this system. This probably will become my go-to to play all my Game Boy games. But I'm hoping to find some more different Game Boy hardware to add to the collection, and obviously you guys know that I'm also doing a lot to try to complete an original collection of the original Game Boy. So anyways guys, I hope you liked this little review of the Game Boy Light and all its predecessors and everything that I had to go over with the Game Boy line. So anyways guys, thanks for watching.